Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to share with you a portfolio from UX designer Tara. So Tara is a junior designer with a background in web design and who just started looking for internship opportunities. So before I jump in, just a quick reminder, I share everything about UX and career growth on my YouTube channel. So if you are interested on this type of content, please feel free to hit the subscribe so you won't miss any of my future content. So before I start, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Careerist. I know how hard and complicated it can get to find a well-paid job, but some platforms make this process easier for you. And one of them is sponsoring today's video. So let's meet careerist.com. So Careerist is an online learning platform. If you don't have any experience in tech or have a technical background, Careerist will teach you everything you need to know and help you land a well-paid job in one of the heaviest professions in the US, from software testing, UX, and also known as QA, quality assurance. So Careerist graduates are already working in over 1,000 companies in 40 states. And of these jobs, 30% are remote. Students also get access to the simplified job search system. It finds relevant job openings, accelerates the job application process by up to 5 times. So overall, Careerist is a great place to start your career in tech. You will attend live classes where you can also watch video recordings after each lesson, and you can also join internships to practice what you learned. They also provide one-on-one guidance from a personal mentor, and you will get the support at all stages of the program until your victory. So don't miss these opportunities to start earning $65K to $100K in just a few months' time. So please follow the link in the description below and you will get a 10% discount for any course at your choice. Thank you, careerist.com, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, let's dive into it. So we're looking at a landing page of Tara's portfolio. First of all, let's take a quick glance of the landing page. Hi, I'm Tara, UX design at University of Connecticut. And there is like a great layout showing projects. It looks like there is a good balance of web and mobile products. So I think overall, it seems like a good balance and combination of different type of works. We have a nav bar from home, about, resume, and contact, which I think has covered the critical elements a portfolio will need or start looking for UX jobs. For today's review, let's take a look at the first project, which is called UX Climb Product Design Case Study. Okay, UX Climb, all things UX blog. There is a header here about the overall structure, timeline, my role, and the tools used, which I think is great. It's always helpful to have like a high-level idea of what's your role, what's the scope, and what is this project about. And to kick the case study off, the first headline is talking about a problem, which I think is great because your audience will really need to understand what is your problem statement to be able to get into more details. Young professionals do not have a resource that provides everything they need to know. Oh, well, it sounds like a problem, but not a very specific problem statement of what you're actually solving in this case study. And then it goes into more details, context, and solution, creating a centralized theme to improve user engagement. Okay, I think the problem statement is actually one of the most critical element in portfolio. So, and I would recommend you to kind of tweak the problem statement here, as the point and the goal for this portfolio is to get you into a job interview. The problem framing needs to be specific to what you're actually solving in this specific case study. So instead of making it really broad at a very high level, try to be more specific, and you can use like a framework. For example, how might we help a user group solve what problem? So that can really help your audience grasp what you're gonna look at in this case study. Then we have engage with users, number 1, by creating, centralized theme and blah, blah, blah. Then number 2, educate designers. Okay, inspire designers. Okay, I like the visual overall. Then it goes into, the why behind the theme. I believe this area actually talks more about research and how to measure success. Okay, I like that Tara has the research section relative condensed and go right into the 3 bullet point of originality, engagement, and credibility. Measuring success. Okay, I think this is actually a very valuable section to have. And I love that Tara is doing some very nice data visualization here. For example, 91.7% of participants access numerous sites to learn about design. And 72.7% prefer a site that is more visual. So I think this kind of storytelling is always more interesting and attractive rather than just text or long paragraph. Good job, Tara. I think this data visualization is a really nice way of storytelling. And then there is the statement again. Okay, what is this statement? I see. There is actually how might we create a tool that allows young professionals to stay continuously inspired or engaged with what they are learning. I see. I think this is probably the problem, the type of problem statement that I was looking for at the beginning. So I think Tara actually has it, but it's kind of positioned a little bit later in the story. Let's look at this again. How might we create a tool that allows the user group is young professionals? That's clear. But so what problem? To stay continuously inspired, engaged with what they are learning. Is this something a clear goal and you're solving in this case study? Is this something measurable, like continuously inspired or engaged with what they're learning? To me, I think the second part of this problem statement has some room to make it more clear and also measurable. I would encourage you to think a bit more. Does this really explain the success or the goal of your project? Then there is understanding the user, pain points. That's good. Competitive study. Okay, so Tara did a competitive study to get some insights. Then there's understanding the user journey. User bound to be more successful with implementation of theme. I see. This is really interesting. I think the way Tara is actually telling the story in her own angle, like as part of my initial research, I decided to conduct user interviews. I did this so that I gathered from the information they relayed. And there is a chart here explaining from user goal, emotions, problems, and ideas, from theme, courses, through to articles. I think this part is great. Shows the designer's user-centered thinking of how to identify the problem. Then it follows with the information architecture, and the design setback and a new direction for design. User testing, okay, improvement in my design that addresses user pain point. I think this section is probably the most important area that as a hiring manager, I would probably spend the most time at. So it looks like Tara is showing like before and after, for example, redesign of the home page. Based on user feedback, this page didn't efficiently utilize my selected color or personal, okay, and new design captured eye from start. Overall, it looks like Tara has a couple of like case studies to show how she has iterated her design and explained the rationales behind. I love that she is doing the before and after with some bullet point to call out the key changes. However, it feels like on one hand, is there a way I can, okay, so I can zoom in. The visual of the web page looks a little bit small, that if I want to know some more details, I might have to zoom in manually, even from this view. And the other side is, I think reading into the bullet point, I love how clean, how simple this visually representation is. However, it feels like you can go a little bit deeper. For example, if you're explaining the redesign of this homepage, I see a huge difference between the before and after. Like, for example, the header has changed, the visual has changed, and the call to action, the main call to action. So as a hiring manager, I would love to know more about what is your thinking behind in making those small changes. And also when it goes to the second, for example, redesign of the article section, Tara has laid out, for example, based on user feedback. This is great. So there is a rationale. Like, okay, what is the cause of your design change? Article layout was distracting, too much text, and new layout meant less words, more visual. She's on the right track to explain the rationale of how she has iterated her design. But in this area, I think because this is actually the most important part of your case study, I'll try to even go a little bit deeper. Like, how did you evolve your design from this like zigzag layout with text next to like a visual graph to something so different below with like a scrollable carousel type of approach? I think this will be usually the area when you're going for a phone or virtual interviews or on-site interviews. Be prepared for any questions. Like the hiring manager could call out any details in the screen you're showing and ask you to explain why you have made certain changes. So last, the final product. There are some hi-fi screens here. I love the visual. And a closer look at my illustration. Love that. And result. Looks like there is a video prototype. That's great. Oh, and there's some data to conclude the project. 11 interviews, 8 usability tests, and 18 iterations. Okay, and there's some afterthoughts and next step to conclude the project. Okay, so overall, I think this is a pretty solid case study. It has pretty much covered all the key elements that I would look for in an entry-level UX designer's portfolio case study, from research to wireframe, user journey, IA, through to hi-fi and prototypes. The one thing that seems a little bit missing is probably low-fi to mid-fi wireframes. I see some really good high-quality hi-fi screens and prototypes here, but how did you get there? Can be helpful to show a little bit more about even the early stage explorations, whether it's hand sketch or lo-fi wireframes. To sum it up, overall, I think Tara's portfolio is really strong on visual. It has a pretty good balance of text and visual elements, and overall it seems very professional and clean. Storytelling is great. Throughout this case study, Tara is telling her story in her own angle rather than like focus too much on the product itself. So that's all awesome. And some areas that I think can improve, number one is the problem statement, and also the low-fi to mid-fi early design explorations. The third thing is the result. I love that Tara has this mindset at the end of the case study to talk about what is the result, and I see that she tried to include some key data here. But I think if you have done any interviews that can give you some quantitative result, like how has your design successfully solved the problem, the user problem or the business goals, try to show some of those data rather than the number of text or number of iterations that you have done. That could be more powerful and actually better communicate your design impact as a designer. Last, like I mentioned, I think I would encourage you to even go deeper. As you showed the before and after screens, go deeper in explaining your design rationale, because I think that's the key part of the case study to shine your critical thinking as a UX designer. So that is all we have for today. Please feel free to share with me if you have any thoughts or comment. I would love to hear from you. I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.